Ever wonder if Yuma's haunted sites are really full of ghosts and spirits?
Call it vibes, dark energy, whatever you want, The hair on the back of my neck would go up several times.
Or are they just historical legends?
We've had 2 people try to spend the night in here, and they were both reporters, and they couldn't make it.
Tonight, we bring back all 3 of our eerie encounter stories where we join the Arizona Paranormal Research Society to investigate the realm of the unknown.
Very, very strange vibe in that place for me. Couldn't wait to get out of there.
And all of a sudden, I just couldn't breathe. I just started choking.
I kept getting messages in my head.
It's all in News 11's Halloween special, Eerie Encounters. Watch if you dare. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this Halloween edition of Eerie Encounters. I'm News 11's Jon Archuleta. Throughout my time here at KYMA, I've had the chance to join a team of paranormal investigators to go inside some of Yuma's spooky locations. Tonight, we'll revisit our time at the Yuma Pump House, Territorial Prison, and Lee Hotel. First, here's our very first investigation with the Arizona Paranormal Research Society as we explored the infamous Yuma Pump House. As the dark of the night approaches, we arrive at our haunted destination. From the outside, the Yuma Pump House looks relatively normal, but on the inside lie countless stories of supernatural occurrences. Carol Engler greets us at the door. She owns the house and is no stranger to its paranormal happenings.
We used to have this kind of a lock inside the master bedroom, and it can only lock from the inside. And one day we came home and it was locked by itself all by the inside, so we had to crawl through the balcony.
Oh, wow.
And it's like there was nobody in there to lock it.
The pump house was built in 1921 to provide water for many local farmers. Beneath it lie 3 tunnels where we'll conduct most of our search for spirits.
These are the tubes. The pumps would be right here, and the water then would come from the canal. It would go underground, come up through these big, turbines, and pump it all the way up. It would go all the way up on top of Avenue 8, and that was the first form of irrigation in 1921 in Yuma County.
Legend tells us one worker was killed during the pump house's construction.
He was killed in that room when they were putting the pumps in, and he got covered in the concrete. And it's hard to believe that, but yet I've had a couple of girlfriends that are kind of psychotic psychics, and they'll go in there and they'll just go, something happened in this room, I gotta get out of here. And they'll get cold and they'll just feel crappy.
The house sat empty for years. Then in the 70s, it reopened as a restaurant. Many workers report many weird activities.
Some different corroborated stories had people complaining about bums sitting there in the dining area upstairs in the loft, which, at the time was a restaurant, and that's where the dining area was as well. And they discovered that they weren't really bums, they were apparitions of the workers, and whether it was the worker who was killed, but more than one person had complained about it. And when you look at the clothing of the workers in the 1920s, you would call them bums. And they were up there sitting in the dining area.
The restaurant eventually closed, and again the pump house sat empty. In 1984, Carol bought it, converted it into a home, and lived there for 20 years. During those 2 decades, she and her family had no shortage of eerie encounters.
My daughter, this was her room. She used to have stuffed animals all on top of that shelf. And one night they all came flying off from the bed. Just all of them. My nephew was 3 years old, and he was visiting here with my twin sister, and he came up one morning and he looked like he hadn't slept at all. He was 3 years old, and I said, "Why are you so tired? What happened?" He says, "The ghost wanted to play all night long. He wouldn't let me sleep."
Eventually, Carol's family moved out. The pump house then became a group home for delinquent boys. After a fire, Carol and her husband remodeled and returned in 2009. In spite of their home's sinister reputation, they're proud to call the pump house home again.
I'll hear, noises, and he calls it settling, but it's more than just settling of the house. You hear bangs and doors or, things knocking, and I've had lights turn on and off by themselves, and it doesn't faze me. I think it's just kind of fun.
We began our investigation by checking levels in the home's electromagnetic field.
Right here we're only getting 0.8, 0.9, that's about it.
Once we do a full walkthrough, it's time for some of the team members to conduct an EVP session. EVP stands for Electric Voice Phenomenon. Members ask questions and hope they get answers from the supernatural realm. We wait half an hour and then begin our own EVP session in the basement's bedroom. That's when one of our photographers feels a cold spot.
I felt right here when I was sitting down, then I put my arm out and look at you feel right here.
It's just one possible sign of a paranormal presence.
Heat is an energy source, and when they do take the heat out of the environment, it leaves a cold spot.
We then go deep inside the tunnels beneath the house, and the spirits are speaking.
Is there some kind of message you want to get to them?
These are just two of the EVPs the team captures on their audio equipment. Here are some more the team captured throughout the house.
Last time we were here, we asked if you might have urgent hot dogs, and you said steak. Is that true? Come back in here then. Come in here.
We even catch a strange laugh on our footage. This shadow appears in the living room. Team members say many of the spirits they encounter are harmless, but that isn't always the case.
One of our investigators got pushed down and he couldn't get up.
I was actually snapping some photographs, and all of a sudden I just couldn't breathe. I just started choking.
Being touched, having your hair pulled, being smacked on the back of the head.
Very, very strange vibe in that place for me. Couldn't wait to get out of there.
No matter what happens, their focus remains on helping the haunted cope and leading the spirits to peace.
We've helped some cross over, and the client hasn't reported any activity since. So we've helped the spirit cross over and be where they need to be. We've given the client their home back. We've counseled them. We've made them feel comfortable with whatever's in their home if we can't get it to leave.
And whether you're a skeptic or not, the choice to believe is yours. Reporting from the Yuma Pump House, Jon Archuleta, News 11. And that's a look at our paranormal experience inside the now residential Yuma Pump House. But the hauntings don't stop there. Next on Eerie Encounters, we lock ourselves up inside the historical Yuma Territorial Prison to try to contact the lingering spirits of those who served time there. Welcome back. We picked a historical tourist attraction for our next paranormal investigation. The Yuma Territorial Prison was once the spot for some of the most violent criminals. Some say their spirits still roam the very cells they were kept in. You decide. With their arms bound in shackles and legs in chains, prisoners at the Yuma Territorial Prison learned a whole new meaning to the phrase, life behind bars.
If you asked a prisoner, what was it like here at the Yuma Territorial Prison, he would have said it was a true hellhole.
Yuma City historian Tina Clark walks us through the prison that was built in 1875. She says the prison was home to many dangerous convicts. More than 3,000 people were sentenced to serve time at the prison. In all its years of operation, 33 women stayed at the prison in this corner cell. One of those women was Elena Estrada, who killed her husband in a cold-blooded murder.
She took out a knife, she stabbed him, she took the knife, cut out his heart, took the bloody mass in her hand, and threw it in his face.
Estrada eventually died at the prison and was buried in its cemetery. Her spirit may still linger.
Of all the people that would haunt this prison, it would have been Elena Estrada.
We make our way to the area of the prison known as the New Yard, where more than 100 people died from tuberculosis.
They were in quarantine. Don't forget, these buildings were not heated. It can get really cold here. These people were very sick. In many cases, some healthy prisoners were exposed to tuberculosis.
Lastly, we visit the dark cell, a prison chamber carved inside the rock itself.
I know that there was pain, suffering, and agony and anguish right here, and we're feeling it. It's kind of, it reflects off the walls.
Prisoners were held here if they misbehaved, and rumor has it those kept inside endured days of torture.
The prisoners were actually kept in a cage within the dark cell. It was also called the snake pit, and the reason is there's one tiny air hole up here. It actually just goes right through the ceiling to let some ventilation in here. It's only folklore that there were mean guards that dropped scorpions and snakes down on the prisoners.
The cell is believed to be haunted not only by the prisoners held captive there, but also by a little girl who died there during the Great Depression. The prison housed the poor during that terrible chapter of American history. Legend has it the child spirit doesn't like the color red.
You're wearing red. The tradition is that you are the one that will get pinched. We've had 2 people try to spend the night in here, and they were both reporters, and they couldn't make it. So I'm wondering about you, John.
I put the legend to the test during our investigation with the Arizona Paranormal Research Society.
I'm interested as the historian to know what they find in here. There's something scary in here.
The time finally arrives for us to go deep inside the prison cells and see if we can communicate with the dead. It's a night that will be filled with plenty of eerie encounters. Next on Eerie Encounters.
Just looking at it, it just gives you that like old Dracula's castle kind of feel.
We dabble into the prison's dark side to try and make contact with the dead. A full moon glows on the Yuma Territorial Prison as the Arizona Paranormal Research Society finishes setting up their equipment. For years, the team has been eager to dabble in the prison's mystic setting. Our first eerie encounter happens in the main prison cell block. Team members enter this cell with electromagnetic field detectors called K2 meters. They detect energy from any paranormal presence.
It has a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. And of course, when it gets to red, that means there's a high, low field presence.
Team members began to ask questions to the spirits when something triggers the meters.
That is great. You got 2 of them blinking. Wow!
Usually when we try to get them to communicate, they will come back and forth to make those lights go on and off, which means they're bringing their energy closer to those meters.
We then decide to head to the New Yard. That's where the team's founder, Frank Madrid, previously saw a shadow of a figure near the back cell.
As I was bringing in the camera cord, I got through the doorway over there, and I looked up and saw a person standing just like this, about as tall as this right here. And when he saw me see him, he darted off into here, and I know that there's nobody back here, and there's only one entrance, and that's it over there.
We gather inside the cell to communicate with the dead, and here's what they had to say in response.
Why did you come out earlier and then dart back in here real quick? Were you afraid that we seen you?
No reason to be afraid. I did see you.
Earlier we were in here and you said get out. Can you say that again?
Here's some more messages the team members captured inside the prison.
We're in the front, in the hallway cells.
He's coming. These guys are scared themselves.
Last but not least, we explore the dark cell. I hold up to my promise and volunteer to go back inside alone. Legend has it if you wear red in the dark cell, you will be pinched or poked by a little girl spirit, so we're gonna put that to the test right now. As I try to make contact with the other side, the team captures a little girl's voice. Alright, so I just got out. Nothing happened, but I did feel a presence behind me at times, so it did feel like there was something behind me, but once again, nothing pinched or poked me. The team then shares some of their eerie encounters they experienced during the investigation.
We're standing there, and all of a sudden my walkie-talkie flies off my pocket and flies out the door into the dirt.
I leaned up against a cell door and felt a hand touch my shoulder. That was pretty cool.
We were walking by and I heard a noise inside the cell. So Brian, a fellow investigator, we stopped. I put my microphone inside and I was holding it, and it all of a sudden just flipped about an inch by itself.
The prison these days remains a popular tourist attraction, but the evidence shows maybe some of its prisoners will forever be locked up. After the break, we go inside downtown Yuma's Lee Hotel to check if there are any spirits that have it checked out. Back in February 2011, we decided to check into the Lee Hotel in downtown Yuma to search for any ghostly guests. What we found was startling. Once a thriving place for guests to spend the night, the Lee Hotel now stands vacant. Many have passed through the doors of the historic landmark located in downtown Yuma, and some believe a few of those guests still haunt its hallways and rooms.
When you're by yourself in the Lee, you definitely feel something different, especially at night.
Jonathan Close owned and lived in the hotel from 1999 to 2004. Close jumped at the opportunity to share its chilling background with us and the Arizona Paranormal Research Society. The lobby is our first stop inside.
I was only one of the 2 or 3 guys that worked the night desk. Around 2 o'clock, most nights, you'd hear noises coming from that direction back there. Creaks, bumps, bonks, things like that. At 2 o'clock every night. We used to have actually an old piano back here, and every once in a while, you wouldn't see the keys moving or anything like that, but from within the piano you'd hear a ping.
We then head to the laundry room, which Close says was his least favorite part of the hotel because it once served as a site for seances, summoning spirits.
You would feel it when you walked in here at night, especially, even during the day. This part of the hotel, even in the summer, was always cold.
So some strange vibes.
Just definitely some strange vibes.
Yeah. Right now we're in room 12, which is supposedly haunted by a woman's ghost. As you take a look behind the door, you can see scratch marks that she supposedly left after she caught her husband cheating on her. Close tells us the woman's name is Sarah, an apparition many guests claim to have seen.
Some people say that she stands at the top of the stairs.
There's also been sightings of ghosts in mirrors.
It would be very quick. And you could have sworn that there was something there a minute ago, and then of course when you look, it's gone.
We would soon have our own eerie encounters, coming into contact with the dead during our investigation. Stay with us for the chilling conclusion of our eerie encounters at the Lee Hotel. The halls are silent, the cameras are rolling, we patiently wait hoping to capture something. The team splits up and we follow the women into room 12. That's where the ghost known as Sarah caught her lover cheating on her with another woman. Legend tells us she doesn't care for females. During the session, strange things start to happen.
When we first got here, I had a full 90-minute charge on my video camera, and it just shut down on us. And when I went to check it, it's completely dead.
The team also records a clear voice on their equipment. We then head downstairs to ask the spirits some questions.
Can you make a noise that'll scare us?
That's when one of the investigators sees a figure peek out from a room.
I seen a shadow standing out from one of the doors and ducked back in real quick, and of course ran right over there to see what it was, and you know, there was nothing there.
Here's some more responses captured by the team. The laundry room is our next stop, and the place where many of us feel a dark presence.
I wanted to get back there, and I was compelled to go back there, but I wasn't going unless somebody else was with me.
Do you feel trapped here? The spirits continue to talk to us. The team's founder, Frank Madrid, and investigator Karen Latour go back into room 12 to try to contact Sarah again. Here's the evidence they gathered.
I was taking pictures of the mirror, and lo and behold, I got a strange looking face in there. It's clearly a woman. You can see her face, the facial features, the shoulder, and it was very impressive.
I kept getting messages in my head, almost like, gee, you know, I'm lonely, I don't have anywhere to go, and it was just so sad.
Is that your powder?
It smells nice.
Is that your powder?
It smells nice.
After a long night, the team wraps up the investigation with a feeling of satisfaction.
It has a high creep value, which you know, everybody that investigates the paranormal just loves.
Then you put that with all the stories that you hear, and then your experiences on top of that. It's just like, whoa.
And that concludes our Halloween edition of News 11's Eerie Encounters. I'm Jon Archuleta saying whether you believe or not, the choice is yours. Good night.